on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son. 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 Welcome to Come On, Son, the podcast. My name is Ed Lover. Interesting conversations with interesting people. There's not a lot of people in Atlanta that is more interesting than my next guest. When we talk about great producers of hip hop music, people start talking Premier, they talk Dr. Dre, they'll say Havoc, they'll say a lot of people, but I don't hear this brother's name coming up enough, and as it should. One of the people that is probably more responsible for the sounds that come out of the great city of Atlanta than a whole lot of people give him credit for. DJ Toomp is my guest right here. Y'all give it up.
What it
give it
is,
up for
what
my
it is.
man. Give it up for Toomp. DJ Toomp. So that
Word,
means
brother.
before a producer, you were a DJ.
Yeah. I started producing first. I mean, DJing first, yeah, for sure.
Is that like the gateway? Because that's Pete Rock.
Well,
that's a whole lot of dudes.
And it's
Primo.
Funny, and it's funny when you mention that too, because most producers cut hair, draw, paint, and I'm all that shit.
Really?
All that, yeah.
You was cutting
Still
hair?
Yeah, I still do that. I still get down. Yeah.
You get the fuck out of here,
Nephew,
Toomp.
yeah, I get the family straight. Yeah, I keep a fresh little pair of clippers, about 3 different trimmers, all that good
What was it about this hip hop music, bro, and music in general that caught Toomp?
Man, well, first, my dad, he was in a group called the MVPs, right? They
Okay.
was signed to Buddha Records. You remember the label?
Yeah,
Curtis
who?
Mayfield,
Yeah, Curtis Mayfield.
Impressions, everybody
Yes,
was on
Buddha,
So,
yes.
yeah, he was signed to Buddha back in the 70s and stuff. So he was singing, man. So he taught me how to sing when I was about like 7 years old, bro.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm born in 69. So it's like, really, I didn't hear no hip hop until like 78 or whatnot. So
Okay.
I was just a fan of just soul music and jazz, I used to
Some
go-
of your favorite, speaking of jazz, Ahmad Jamal just passed away.
Oh, wow.
Rest in peace to Ahmad Jamal.
Wow,
A whole lot of the music that we like was sampled from Ahmad
Yeah.
Jamal,
What
right?
was one of his main ones that
Nas is the one that Pete Rock did. One
who's
love,
one?
dun,
Oh,
dun,
One
dun,
Love,
dun.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, that was I'm sorry, that wasn't the one. Pete Rock did Whose World Is This? That's Ahmad Jamal, bro.
Dopest piano.
Yes, that's
Period.
Ahmad Jamal, brother.
Dope. Wow.
Yeah, so he
Okay.
passed away.
Thank
So
you.
that was the era that you grew up on the jazz. And who was some of your favorite R&B?
Man, Tower Power.
Wow.
Lenny,
Lenny Williams.
there you go. A lot of
Lenny
people don't know
Williams.
that.
People
Yeah,
don't
you
know
your
that.
shit,
See
boy.
now,
There you go.
me and Toomp gonna educate.
Yes.
See, I like these
Yes.
conversations. This is what I talk about.
Yes.
Lenny Williams. Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. The Lenny Williams was the lead singer of Tower of Power. Where do you think R. Kelly got that riff from?
Exactly.
Lenny Williams.
man.
Yes,
bro.
sir. Tower
the
Power.
Jackson 5, I was a part of that era to where, it was cool to want to be like Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We all want to be
the
Mike.
original Mike,
We all want to be the Black Mike.
Excuse me. So, yeah, man, and like I say, going through record crates, my dad had, I think by the time I turned about 8 or 9, that's when he started trusting me, on the turntable, dropping the needle, without
Right.
hearing the record go, need to go across the record or whatnot. So, man, once I got old enough to really start digging through crates and reading the covers, man, I just caught myself being real interested just in music, period. I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But shoot, I'll say around 81, 82, I was watching 60 Minutes, man, and they showed Grandmaster Flash on some turntables in his kitchen. They were talking about the movie Wild Style.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit just caught my attention. And like we was talking about earlier with Funky 4 on Saturday Night Live,
Right.
I even caught Prince when he was on there for the first time, too.
Right.
So I was one of them kids staying up late. It's really supposed to be sleep. Had a little black and white TV, watching all kind of shit, man. So, and when I saw Funky 4 on Saturday Night Live, that just caught my attention, and I just been a lover of hip hop ever since. Of course, everybody learned the words to Rapper's Delight.
Absolutely. So you knew that you wanted to be a part of this culture.
I knew it, bro. I knew it. Like,
Are you originally from Georgia?
Born and raised, Southwest Atlanta.
Southwest Atlanta.
Yeah.
What was the culture like at that time?
Well, excuse me. I would say 81, 82. Really, I'll say 70. Yeah, from 78 to really 81, 82. If you really wanted to hear some real hip hop, it had to be on AM radio. FM wasn't really popping like that. So we had WIGO and WAOK. And we were way ahead of the curve. We were doing live remotes back then down there.
Right.
So it was a club on West Peachtree called the Sans Souci,
Uh-huh.
and another one in Buckhead called VIP.
Okay.
Right there, like used to be Belvedere Plaza. So after the regular shows, I say from 11 o'clock and on up to like 2 in the morning, they just do live remotes from the club, man. You hear folks cussing in the background, DJ mixing, Reggie Rez, Keith Pollard, everybody was just mixing live on the air.
Uh-huh.
You can hear the crowd in the back. It kind of remind you of some old Sugar Hill records because you could
Right.
they used to leave the mic up just
That's
enough so
right.
you could hear the whole crowd.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, man. So just those little details just caught my ear back then. Caught my attention, man. And that's when I really started wanting to be a DJ. Because I used to play around with the pause button for a minute. You know what I mean?
You made
like,
pause
I made
tapes.
pause tapes. I
Wow.
was wicked. You know, I used to just keep count.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. Only real heads might know out of New York, these guys called the Latin Rascals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they used to do like some of the dopest remixes ever.
Right.
Man, I learned how to do all that shit. Then later on, I learned how to splice tapes when I got to the real studio.
So you was doing pause tapes like the rest of us,
Man.
because, all right, for all of y'all that don't know, that's too
I had
young,
the longest
please let me
version of
take this
Planet
time
Rock.
out to explain what a pause tape was. We had cassette decks, right?
sir.
So depending on where you were from, they played hip hop only at a certain period or on a certain day
down.
at a certain time. So when you wanted to hear your favorite record, you put that tape in there and you recorded it, but you never wanted to get the radio stations call letters on your tape. You didn't want to hear WAOK. You didn't want to hear WBLS. You didn't want to hear 98.7 Kiss. So you sit there right there, and when you thought you heard that DJ crack that mic, you hit pause.
Yeah, because you have it on pause and record already.
That's right.
So that way, when it's just your favorite record, you wait till they finish talking. Wow.
Right.
You know?
Then you get your records. Then you was able to go out, play your tapes, 90-minute Maxell tapes, 60-minute tapes, when you didn't have no talking on it. It was just the music. But then dudes got creative and started making the tapes where they were actually making break beats. And they were, they were looping. It was early looping. It was early looping.
It couldn't be a soft touch tape deck. It had to be the one with the buttons stick out. Where you just right on point. Like when you let it off, it's got to be on the one.
That's right,
you know what I
Toomp.
mean?
That's right. So so cats that were really creative on it, that were really in their early stages of DJing, were making those tapes, and we used to buy those tapes off of them because all the break beats were there. So in my early days of my rap career that I thought I was going to have as MC Eddie D, when I wrote my rhymes and I practiced on pause tapes because the dudes had the best break beats, and they would hit that. Like if you played I Got the Big Beat by Billy Squire, right?
Yeah.
It was and then Billy Squire would come and go, no, you didn't want to hear that
You
shit.
want to do that. Yeah.
Right? So if a dude didn't have turntables, he hit that pause and then he bring it back and then he unpause it.
Back on the one.
Right back on the one, and that's how you learn.
So keeping it 100. So I have a cousin named Tanya. She's from New York, and she used to bring tapes back in the 80s.
Okay.
Tell me about the whole thing. She was like, "Yeah, I knew Flash." You know, she talked about Flash and all them. So I was like a lightweight alien down here. I was way ahead of the average 7th, 8th grader.
Right.
The shit that I was doing as far as musically and just knowing all the rap records, and because I was turning on people onto the Crash Crew. It was somebody y'all just spoke of, Jazzy 5.
Yeah, Jazzy 5. Yeah, Jazzy say, oh my God.
Man. So I was the one when people wanted to know what the new hip hop shit was. They used to come to me.
Okay. When did you get your first set of turntables?
My first,
And what were they?
Well, it was one was a belt drive and one was a direct.
I knew you was going to say belt drive.
It was one Pioneer belt drive and it was a Techniques direct drive. Matter of fact, and it didn't even have a pitch control. Neither had pitch control.
Woo!
Yeah, but I still it took me a minute to understand counting BPMs and stuff. So I get records on beat for a minute. But let's say if you got a record that's 120 and another one that's 125, they're gonna stay on beat for at least 4 seconds.
Yes.
So I used to, right when they get on beat, move the fade over. You know what I mean? So I still didn't understand.
What was your first
beats.
mixer?
My first mixer was a realistic.
Okay.
Do
they still make
realistic with the knobs, no crossfader? Yeah.
See, that's how I know we talking to a real DJ.
Yeah.
The first mix I ever touched was a GLI, and it had the knobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I learned to mix. I'm still not good at cutting.
Okay.
But I can mix like a motherfucker.
Blending is always
Right.
good, though. Yeah.
Because them knobs, you had to turn one down and one
yeah.
up
You know what time it is.
and make that joint fit. And there was only a certain spot in the record that you can mix. You mixed out because there was parts of the record that people listened to and they knew everything about that record. You didn't cut that record off like these, what I call them smash DJs nowadays. They're just like, don't matter the tempo.
When you think about the structure of songs back then, they had a breakdown. You know,
Right.
Wait, you know, good time.
Right.
You know, the silence, just the drums and the bass line.
Right.
Like every record had breakdowns.
Bounce,
back then,
Rock,
like,
Skate, Roll by Vaughn Mason.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, same thing. So
Walking in
now-
the Sunshine, joints like that.
nobody
Them
had
skating rink
breakdowns
records,
no
I
more.
call them.
Yeah.
Some of them skating rink records, man.
Yeah, man, and that played a major part in my whole journey too. DJing at the skating rink. You know
What
I mean?
skating rink was you DJing at?
Jelly Beans. Right
Oh,
in
wow.
right in Ben Hill.
Okay.
DJ Kenny Boo, man, and he was up on a whole lot of hip hop stuff too. And so some of the record stores, because everybody used to go to this one spot called Third World, which was cool, but there was another one called Gold Mine that used to be in the West End. And they used to catch a lot of shit from up top, like before everybody, almost like a month ahead of time.
Right.
So whenever I see a profile record label, or Sugar Hill, or anything, Enjoy, I would just get it before I used to.
So who were the cats out here? I know it was y'all had Raheem the Dream, y'all had
Raheem, the very, very first guy is Mojo.
Okay.
Let Mojo handle it. Yeah, he's the first one to actually put a record out down here. That was
Okay.
81, 82.
All right.
Yeah, it was incredible because he used a live band. It reminded you of some James Brown shit.
Yeah, and
Mojo
Sugar Hill,
handle
the way Sugar Hill used to do
There you
with the
go.
band and all of
Mojo's
that.
still living too. He's still active, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's somebody
So
you might wanna
Mojo
catch
was
up
like it was like one of the real pioneers of Atlanta
Yes,
hip hop.
man, definitely. First guy on the radio, first rap record, period. And after that was Shadi, and that was DJ
Yeah.
for Shadi.
Yeah.
Producing for him.
Okay, and Shadi from up top.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then
Bronx River
Shadi.
to be
Yeah,
exact.
absolutely.
First person took me to New York.
Yes, we gotta get. Hey, damn, we gotta get Shadi on here,
I
man.
was up there for the
Definitely gotta get
we
Shadi.
went up there for the new music seminar.
Wow.
That's when Scratch won and Mikey D, Melly Mel took Mikey D's belt.
Yes, he did. Mikey D's from Queens like me too. Yes, he did.
Mikey D had killed him though.
Yes, he
Melly
did.
Mel
Mikey
wasn't
D.
in that bullshit.
Mikey D is probably one of the greatest, and I know everybody have him, and you probably can name 1,000 dudes from down here, but from Queens, New York, Mikey D is probably one of the greatest what ifs of all time because Mikey D was nice.
cold, bro.
And we used to always want Mikey D to battle LL, but that battle never happened. But Mikey D was that good.
LL used to actually battle?
Yeah. Yeah. There's an infamous LL Cool J Jay-Z battle that happened, but he never battled Mikey D. Although everybody used to have rumors that Mikey D battled LL and he killed him. Mikey D and LL never battled.
battled at
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
okay.
Mikey D was one of the great ones, man.
That's
yeah, and
interesting.
I remember that Melly Mel took his belt.
Hell yeah, I was there, man. I witnessed all that, and I was just.
Damn, how old was you then, too?
Well, I just graduated, what, 18, 19?
Yeah, you had to be
I was
18,
fresh out of high
19,
school,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, new
87,
music
88.
seminar.
Yeah.
It's where you develop new music, you found new artists. I
Yeah,
remember
bro, that was
coming
correct.
down here for Jack the Rapper.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember I met Hammer at Jack the Rapper when he was MC Hammer, the Holy Ghost boy.
And see, when I met him, it was out in the BRE in L.A.
Okay.
Yeah. That was on Hammer.
So what was your transition like from DJ Toomp, which you still go by, which I respect a hell of a lot,
Thank you.
to Toomp the producer?
Really, after playing so many records, man, I started understanding the structure of songs, like the intros. Then I started understanding the beats a lot more. Never was good. I was just eyed at playing drums, as far as the live drums. But then around like mid 80s, early 80s, when you started using the DMX and started hearing drum machines. And the first time I got, I was always good at beating on the desk and shit.
Okay.
So I always make a nice little constant beat while folks rap in high school or whatnot. So I knew that once I got in the studio and played with a drum machine, it was over. And so Raheem was the first person who gave me a shot at it. That was in 85. I used a drum emulator and a DMX. I didn't even MIDI them together. I just knew to get them on the same BPM. Started one and started the other one. I fucked up a few times. So we had a Otari 1-inch 8-track recorder is what we did our first record on.
Wow.
Yes, a little reel-to-reel that set flat up with all the VUs on it, and that's when man, it was like I did the beat, and I didn't know that was actually producing back then. You know what I
Right.
mean? They were like, "Nah, you produced the beat." So boom. If you look at the album cover, it's like I even drew the album cover. I used to do graffiti and stuff too. So it was like Raheem has got Toomp with the hands coming out with turntables. And whatnot. So, yeah, the old it's on YouTube, all the old artwork and shit. But and I would say I still was more into DJing around that time. I still didn't really take the production side seriously until I would say the next song we did, me and Raheem, was called Eliminator. And that was in 86, like 86, 87. And that's when I started learning more about the 808s and MIDI and stuff up. My homeboy Mike Fresh started, he taught me a lot about MIDI and running the 727. So we had these, matter of fact, some guys from New York. New York play a major part.
Wow.
It's these dudes, Chris and Pookie, man. They used to hustle with a lot of folks back then. But they came down here. They moved the family down here because basically they knew they might wouldn't have lived too long being up there. So they like some of the first hustlers I know from New York who came down here. They invested in us, man. We had the studio off Campbellton Road and everything. And they brought a whole lot of break beats down there. So I started going through crates, man. So I was digging in the crates at 86.
Wow.
But it's still certain stuff. You know how it is. Like, let's say if you go through a crate now, and you might be like, all right, I'm going to sample this record. Or, you may listen to a record, and you may hear something and be like, oh, that's cool. Then 5 years later, it's actually the thing to sample.
Right.
So I had records that I just looked over them, and I was saying then like 6 years later, I was like, oh man, I could have put that out first. I've been had that break beat.
Right.
I've been used, could have used that, but it's just the timing. So I had all kind of resources around me. So somebody showed me how to really hook the whole studio up. And then once I really started understanding the whole structure, man, that's when I started taking producing seriously. You know what I mean?
More seriously than just
it was more like just the DJing, and that's what was really paying the bills at one
right.
point. Because I still, man, just think I even did a lot of that Sade album. Come on, shake it.
Yeah.
And see, I don't know if you remember, me and you met on one of them Luke cruises. You remember when Luke used to have
yes, sir. Debauchery at its finest,
yes,
baby.
Sir. That's when me and you have officially. I kind of figured you wouldn't remember that.
So you was DJing for Sade at the time.
Sade at the time.
And you did the production on Shake It?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm on the album cover and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, man. Being a dude from Southwest Atlanta, born and raised here, when did Atlanta figure out its sound? Because what you're telling me is the early influence of Atlanta was a lot of New York.
Yeah.
When did Atlanta say, you know what? We ain't fucking with New York. We Atlanta.
We got our thing. I would say Atlanta really had found a sound. I would say, keeping it 100, I don't want to make it like I just really brought it, but some people say I did. Because, we were in Miami, so Miami had a whole nother sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tempo. And so me and my boy Mike Fresh, we moved back to Atlanta, because we was in Miami for a good little while. For
really?
Like 5 years straight.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years straight. When we came back up here, we brought the up-tempo 140 BPM shit. And that's when Atlanta started being known for the booty shake music.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we had the Miami bass, but then we had the Atlanta booty shake music, like the Kizzy Rocks and ATL players. There's a whole lot of little groups came up back then. So like I say, the songs were like between 128 and maybe 141 BPM.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the Atlanta sound for a minute. And we were mixing those slow records with the fast records.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that. DJ Smurf.
Yeah.
Edward J.
Yeah.
So DJs were mixing slow records. You know how it is. If it's 140, could be slow or fast.
That's right.
So, and that was the whole thing. You might hear somebody mix the Silk, what's it? Freaky.
Yeah.
They might mix
Freak Me Baby.
Yeah, Freak Me Baby with an up-tempo.
Absolutely. Them blends, right.
So that started our little booty shake type of era. And from there, that's when we kind of had a sound that we could really call ours. And then they started a certain dance called yeeking. I know you'll see that, everybody go, yeek. That whole little TLC thing. And around that time, I would say later on, we just decided to slow it down. We still kept the 808s in it, but we just slowed it down. And that's when you had the Outkast start coming out.
Right.
And even with me and Raheem, we had slowed it down a little bit, even with the stuff that we put out. But Raheem was on the booty shake for a minute. But then, like I say, once it started slowing down, we started really embracing more of our soul, which is, you know, you think about Atlanta and just the state
Yeah.
of Georgia. Come on, man. Hamilton, Bohannon,
Right.
Willie Jackson, Gene Carn, Cameo, a long list. So a lot of soul artists came out of here. So we started really embracing that along with those beats. And that's why, you know, you got the Outkast and,
Right.
like I say, the trap music and all that shit came from the organs and the live music with the 808 drum. So
Right.
that ended up becoming our sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely did. And I think at that time, Atlanta kind of figured themselves out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took a minute now.
Yeah,
You're right. You're
it took a
damn right.
minute because New York used to dominate hip hop so much that, you know, when we came around in 1989 with Yo MTV Raps, what we were trying to do was just spread the music to everybody. And then local people started understanding we don't have to sound like New York.
Yeah.
We could sell records to our people because I think y'all understood that past DC, everybody sound like y'all.
Right.
They don't sound like us.
Oh, yeah.
You get past Delaware, don't nobody talk like New
something
York
else.
no more.
Hey, man, matter of fact, and shout out to you and Dr. Dre back then, too, man, because that Shake It video was in regular rotation.
Yes,
more
sir.
on MTV than
Yes,
any other
sir.
station, for sure.
Yeah, we played
You know,
that
Move
motherfucker.
Something, all that shit.
Yeah, oh,
Y'all
we played
really
the shit
was
out of Luke.
representing,
We played Luke.
Yeah, y'all looked out for
We
the
played
South
Luke
for
to
sure,
death,
man.
bro. We
You know,
did.
at
We
one
played
point, boy,
Shy.
y'all-
We played Shy
like,
D
man,
too.
them New York niggas don't love us, man.
No, we always did,
We
bro.
was- Yeah, everybody, we used to catch a little bit.
But you know, in '95, that's what Dre caught because it was kind of like, you know, Outkast was up for Best New Artist and they won New Artists at the Source Awards, and Dre felt like that he was being disrespected.
Yeah,
But I
heard
was
the
already,
blues.
I was
Yeah.
already on Outkast, bro.
Right, right.
I already knew what the fuck Outkast was and what they could be. I was on them. I was on 8 Ball and MJG. I was on Bun B and Pimp C. I was already on it.
Yeah.
That's why he stood there and said the South got something to say. And
But see, as far
God,
as
that
big
was
names, You've
prophetic.
always been that neutral. You've always been
neutral.
in the neutral zone, for sure.
Yeah,
though.
because there's so much great music coming out of
Right.
everywhere. What was your first major hit record?
Shake It.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. And then, you know, just think. I mean, I released a whole lot of songs. And then I would say that was a major record. But then, as far as accomplishments, I would say the song I did for Two Live Crew, the New Jack City song soundtrack.
Okay.
Dick in the Dirt, Dick in the Dust.
Yeah.
That's the part when they was riding in the Jeep. when
Bro, I didn't know
G-Money
you
was-
did that.
Yeah, I did that one too. Yeah, I sampled the Neville Brothers. Did that on the SP1200. Yeah, but didn't get nothing off of it though. All I got was my $1,500 producer fee.
That's
I
it?
didn't know anything about royalties, no publishing or nothing. I was just a young cat getting $1,500 a track, running around Miami with an SP12 and some floppy disk.
So you was messing with Luke?
Yeah,
That's crazy,
but
bro.
you know.
Yeah.
Luke said, hey, if y'all don't know, I ain't gonna tell you. You know what I mean? And that's why
Exactly.
and honestly though, that's
Paying dues though, bro.
You gotta pay your dues. I look at it as a semester. And then at the same time too, I was just telling somebody else that really you can't really hold no grudges on any old school CEO back then, because most of them was like 25 years old, really young.
Right.
Didn't really know the game themselves.
That's right.
You know what I mean? He'd be like, such messed me around. He'd be like, come on, man. Everybody was really learning this shit.
That's right. Puff was learning, you know,
Everybody.
Dre was learning, and
Same
we
thing.
were all learning,
Yeah,
man.
Everybody. You know what I mean?
You know,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so Luke was like, you know, if y'all ain't gonna, if you don't ask, you know, I'm not gonna tell you.
Right.
So yeah.
So you had to learn the business the hard way.
Come on, man. Watching that, what was that? What was the biggest song off that album? Color Me Bad, Sex You Up.
Yeah.
And I think that New Jack City soundtrack might have did like might have peaked out at 4 or 5 mil.
Jesus Christ. At that time.
Imagine
Not
me
counting how
being
many other
19,
times.
20 years old with that first royalty check.
Oh my God. Not counting how many other times somebody has bought that joint.
Yeah.
And that was when soundtracks was everything.
I wasn't getting royalties off the Shady stuff either. Like I said, I just didn't know.
Right.
Nobody didn't know nothing back
You
then.
just did it. When did you start saying,
Seeing, man, after the New Jack City,
uh-huh,
and then I sat with my man DJ Magic Mike out of
Mm-hmm.
Orlando. And he started, you know, giving me game because, you know, he had his own label back then.
yes, sir.
And he was like, man, you know, you're going to have to learn this book. And I got his book by Kashif and another one by Dave Passman.
Everything you need to know about
Donald
the music.
Passman.
Yes.
Yeah. And
God
bruh,
bless Kashif.
And the first royalty check I got came from the Dr. Doolittle soundtrack.
What did you do on there?
The song called "Push 'Em Up." You wouldn't even know. He might have put that shit all the way to the end to hear that song.
Right.
And they played it in a little part of the movie, but that sync fee was a killer, man. That was my first.
Damn.
I ain't gonna lie, I was hustling around that time too.
Okay.
So once I saw that check was bigger than what I had in my safe,
Right.
I'm like, man, no more of that street shit.
Right.
Yeah, that street shit can go. Let me stick to this right here. I sold that check to my parents, man. They were like, yeah.
And what did you do after the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack?
After that, shoot, let me see. Produced Lil Jon.
Okay.
Shawty Freak a little something.
Okay.
I did that one. That was
You did Sade Freak.
Yeah, with Jazzy Faye singing on the hook.
God damn,
too.
Toomp.
Yeah, so I was
Wow.
my first Lil Jon album. And shoot, still had a little money to play with. And at that time, I was like, man, let me find an artist.
Uh-huh.
Ran across old Clifford Harris, which y'all know is T.I.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So
The most polite fucking... I always tell Tip this story. He is the most polite upcoming artist that I had ever met in my entire life till this day. And I was down here for Jack the Rapper.
Wow.
And ran into that young man.
Yeah.
And he introduced himself to me. He said, my name is Tip, but people call me T.I., Mr. Ed Lover, man. So polite. You're going to hear about me soon. And the way he approached me stuck in my head because I was so used to super aggressive artists. Yo, this is my shit. My shit coming out, nigga. But
like that,
no,
man.
he was so fucking...
He's an old soul, too.
Yeah,
you know
that
what I
dude
mean?
is so polite, man.
Yeah, and his old man from New York.
Right.
You know?
So how did you meet T.I.?
Through my partner who I was hustling with, Toomp.
Okay.
T-O-O-T. So
Right.
we be shouting out. Like,
Right.
Rest in peace, Toomp.
Right.
And he used to, I've been knowing Toomp, since 4th grade. So, and he used to always mention, like, hey, man, I got a little cousin that rap. And, you hear that from everybody.
Yeah.
And, man, I finally just put that cassette in my little 300ZX, and I was blown away, bro. I was like, please bring him over here ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and shit. Once we went to the studio, man, realized the magic was there. But what's crazy, it's that age gap, because he was in the Southwest Atlanta area too, but I'm like almost got him beat by 10 years.
Right.
So we could have easily missed each other. Just, ain't no telling how many times we crossed each other's paths, but I didn't know him, he didn't know me either.
Right.
Because I really had to break down my whole career to him when I met. Like, he didn't know who the hell Toomp was.
Right.
So we was just, the whole relationship was just so brand new, but the chemistry, oh my God.
Yeah. When y'all work together, do you do the music first and then give it to him and then say, well,
Yeah,
this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, I just have, a playlist of joints, and then he might shoot an idea, but most of the time it's stuff that I might have in my playlist already.
Uh-huh.
And so once you get with an artist, especially if you done help him develop that, because I was a lightweight rapper myself. I used to be battling a little bit.
Right.
I done tried everything on the umbrella of hip hop, from graffiti to rapping, like
DJing, you did everything. Like, you and me both. You and me both. You figure out what you're good at.
And so every time we was in the studio, just like I say, I noticed the chemistry was there, man. So 90% of everything in my playlist, he had a song for it. You know what I mean? So that shit made sense, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, bro.
It made sense.
Yeah, you're a tip of like magic, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's some of the greatest hip hop ever, bro.
Man. Hopefully we be squeezing one out soon. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's time, right?
It's been a lot of conversation, but everybody say they want to see it. Last time I saw him at Clay's.
Rest in peace, Clay Evans too, yo.
Clay, man. And we had a quick conversation. I was like, hey man, let's get these folks what they want. He's like, yeah, OG, let's do it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Talked enough, yeah.
Yeah,
so let's do it. So,
it's been a minute. What is the biggest record on Tip that you produced? The one that sold the most.
What you know about that?
Right.
That was the one. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from? That music.
Flat, Going Away.
That's Roberta Flack?
Yeah. See, that's another record I used to play when I was a kid.
Right.
That song, for some reason, at the end of that song, used to it just had this feel, and I always remember that melody. Da 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 da. So later on, I tried to sample it. It didn't come out too good, but I just replayed it in this software called Reason by Kellerhead, and this homeboy named Wonder. He showed me how to work the whole software thing. Once I got into that, because I was really hardware.
Okay.
MPC.
Right.
Phantom, you know what I mean? So I started getting into the software, but all the beats were still on the MP.
Okay.
So yeah, instead of me sampling that Roberta Flack, I just listened to it maybe 10 times and just got all the instruments. And,
right.
Yeah, bro.
So is that considered an interpolation?
Interpolation, yes, sir.
So you don't have to pay for that?
Just just get a little publishing up. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay,
That's why I
okay.
still own a whole lot of percentage of my records, man. Everybody cutting these deals. You might hear about something with me soon, but I ain't breaking my neck for it, man.
Right.
I'm cool right now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, because that was a huge record for Tip.
Before that,
bro.
let me see.
Run off to some of the Tip records you did, bro.
All right. Well, the first one that what really kicked everything off was Dope Boys in the Trap.
Okay.
That was on the Serious album.
Right.
And after Dope Boys, 24s, I produced that one.
Oh my God.
Cars
and clothes. That's how all my
I done
partners
cleared
roll.
that song, man. Me and Tip done cleared that song 5 times in the past 2 years now. So
Really?
now we the motherfuckers.
So they're sampling you now.
Sampling us,
Oh,
man.
it's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I'm holding on to mine
That's
for a minute,
crazy.
man. Yeah, bro.
Okay, come on.
So You Don't Know Me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on Floss and Pop as long as Toomp is on the beat. So that was me.
Toomp. You don't know me. You can see me in the street, my nigga. You don't know me. God damn.
Motivation.
Toomp. That's another one.
Yeah. Shoot, man. Bezels. It's a few of them. About My Issue with
Right.
Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a gang of
Did
them.
Nip come in the studio and do that with y'all?
Yeah, we rocked that out. Yeah, I was in LA.
Okay.
We went crazy with that one. Yeah. That was on the Paperwork album.
Yes, yeah. Paperwork is one of my favorite albums from Tip,
man,
too.
And after kicking it with him, that just opened a whole lot more doors, started
Okay.
getting more attention from a lot of other cats from around y'all way, West Coast.
Who else? Tell everybody, because they don't know.
Ended up getting, Kanye.
Okay.
So he actually came down here to do the graduation album.
All right.
It was like he wanted the feel, so he chose to come work with me.
Right.
So we started down here and we finished up in New York at Sean King. So
Okay.
yeah, I was almost executive producer on that Kanye album.
What happened, bro?
Just needed one more record.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had 3. I did Can't Tell Me Nothing,
Right.
Big Brother,
Right.
and Good Life.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at, listen, you hear this?
Yeah,
You can hear it from the back because this is what I was telling y'all. Listen to me when I tell you interesting conversations with interesting people. Why do you think when the best producers are called out, I don't hear Toomp?
Because I'm not all in the videos. Hey, just, you know what though, and I end up honestly keeping it 100, man. Because I just for me growing up around a lot of older cats, like I said, I used to hustle with my pop,
Right.
and just being around a lot of older cats, just lay low, chill out, be that silent guy.
Right.
I always wanted to be like the Daryl Simmons in the industry.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got LA and Babyface, but you got Daryl Simmons.
And there is no LA and Babyface.
Without
a
Daryl
lot
Simmons.
of them records without Daryl Simmons.
He actually named his production company Silent Partner. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, Daryl Simmons.
Like with a
Yeah.
So that's
all the money and without all the headache that go along with it.
So I made it my business to not be in the videos too tough. But later on, as things started changing, it started really turning into more of a show me. It's a show, you got you got the show. Hey, you got to speak on it. Hey, if you did it, the world need to know.
Right.
And so then now you got the streaming shit, but niggas can't read credits no more. So you really got to be vocal about your work.
Yeah, you got to be out there. You got to let
I
people know.
Being in a few of the videos, man. That's a lot of records I produced. I was at the videos,
Like what?
Shoot, man. I was at Rubber Band Man joint.
Okay.
And I was there at the You Don't Know Me video, but only the part where he said, as long as Toomp is on the beat, you'll see me for like 2 seconds. then I'm gone. Shadi, Shake It. I was in that video dancing with some other bros down there from Miami or whatnot.
Right.
But like I say, and then some of the producers that you can speak of that's really, really known were the ones who was kind of rappers also. Like Dr. Dre, he was
right.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jazzy Faye was an artist also.
Right.
JD was an artist also. So
right.
most of the ones, so like the cat got who else? Like Large Professor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you got different cats who just
Pete Rock,
same thing. Yeah, producer /
Q-Tip.
Yep, Q-Tip.
Yeah.
So for me, not really being an artist, it was kind of like you really had to truly read the credits to know who the hell I am. You know what I mean? So, and that's what helped. That helped a lot because after people saw the T.I. records and like, damn, some people's like, who the hell DJ Troop?
Right.
T-O-O-M-P.
Right.
You Toomp? I'm like, yeah, that's me. So after a while, I was like, okay, that's very important. They need to know who the hell I am.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
And that's when I started really like.
And you need your flowers right now.
Hey, man.
While you alive, brother.
Hey, bro, alive and well.
Absolutely.
Vertical, all that, baby.
Damn right. Everybody need to know who DJ Toomp is and these
so
records that he produced and these artists that he worked with and this beautiful music that you gave to the world, brother.
And then why should I, hold my little story back? Because this is a whole lot of
Oh yeah.
behind it. Yeah, I got a story.
Absolutely.
Documentary.
You should, as you should, brother.
It's coming real soon.
As you should. It's the 50th celebration, 50th anniversary of hip hop, and you are a major cog and a sound for an entire city.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You're a major part of this city. Do you agree with Jay-Z when he says that he feels like right now Atlanta is lacking musically? JD, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri, you do?
Yeah.
What do you think is missing?
It's missing development.
Okay.
90% of what came out of Atlanta was developed.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Even stuff on independent labels, it was development. Now, you can just press a button, you hit enter, man, and that shit is out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got cats who still may be like how I was in '88, don't know anything about royalties or nothing. They just know how to go in the studio and they just realize they can rap, or they could just put some words together, or hold some guns up in the videos.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a few elements I would say that has taken it away. And another thing is it was a lightweight little tug of war between the new school and the old school.
Mm-hmm.
The new cats didn't think that we respected them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so they kind of used to be a certain way to us, like, going with that old shit.
Right.
So that's what kind of helped, knocked it off a little bit, because everybody who really was successful around here, I would say from the 90s to the early 2000s, was a part of somebody before that.
Right.
They were under somebody, brought in through someone. But now you got cats who could just, like I say, fresh out of the studio, and once they hit enter and throw a video out there,
right. Now all of a sudden,
they're not affiliated with anybody. You know what I mean? They don't have any type of guidance. It's just throwing music out there. It's just a wild game right now.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Nobody's there to really approve it. So that's why
there's no minor league.
At all.
There's no minor league because, even with
I try not to use the gatekeeper's words. You know what I mean? I try not to use that.
But even with TLC, you hear stories about what Left Eye used to do, what Chili was doing, what, T-Boz is doing. And, you sit down and you talk to a cat like Big Boy or Sleepy Brown or even yourself, and they were like, yo, I knew Tiana when she was da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
There was that minor league there, and now it ain't. It's a kid in the bathroom doing vocals, and it's just like
woodwork out of nowhere.
Right.
And then so it's like, it's lacking. It's lacking bad, because you got to think. Excuse me. This city was driven off of hip hop and R&B.
Yes, sir.
So just think, right? Just Wild Outkast, Goody Mob, and all this other stuff was hitting Young Bloods. You still had TLC.
Yeah.
Tony Braxton.
Yeah. Usher.
You know what I mean?
Luda.
And not to mention shit, Donell Jones came out.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, hell yeah.
So it was like neck and neck,
right.
And even as far as a hip hop artist that wasn't signed to LaFace, this guy Kilo.
Yes.
Kilo was the biggest when TLC was selling like 10 million records. It went diamond. Kilo was still the biggest artist in Atlanta around that time. Yeah, people would. It's almost, if you think about it, back then he might would have sold out the arena quicker than TLC when he was hot.
Right.
Even though they was on LaFace.
Right. So
it's like it was a nice natural balance of R&B and rap.
Yeah.
And people were respecting the ones who brought them in.
Well, it wasn't microwavable music. That music still lives right now.
Yeah. So it's so.
You understand what I'm saying? The music that you've done, even from Sade, moving all the way up to T.I. music, that music still lives, man. That music ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and it was really cooked.
The shit that you did with Little John, all that shit still cooks,
Still
bro.
hear it in the club.
Yeah.
DJ still cue that shit in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
It's not this kind of, you're only playing a minute and a half or 60 seconds of the record.
Oh yeah.
And then
they at least wanna
you're
hear
gone.
2 verses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the hook.
Because just the other day, I was laughing at something because I used to say when they did, when Cam and Lil Wayne did the song together, Suck It or Not, you never heard Cam's verse. They just jumped right to Lil Wayne. To Wayne. And they just performed that together for the first time ever.
Wow.
And that record's got to be over 10 years old.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's been a minute. Yeah.
So I'm here as a griot. I'm here as an OG to make sure that stories of your story and everybody else's story is told, man, because y'all deserve your flowers, bro.
Yeah, man.
It ain't no two ways about that, bro.
Yeah,
you are one of the greats.
Thanks.
And everybody should know. You can ask anybody from Tip to Jazzy Faye to Chili to Big Boy to Dre to JD to any of them. Lil Jon, ask them about DJ Toomp, and they would tell you. You was laid back for a long time, bro.
Yeah. Finally just came out the woodwork, man.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right.
After let me see, after the Kanye, let me see, because when we were mixing Big Brother,
right.
That's when Jay-Z came to the studio. Was like, hey, because everybody, the conversation in Def Jam was, hey, man, Ye got a song talking about Jay.
Right.
So he didn't know if it was bad or good.
Right.
So when he came to Chung King, man, to hear it, we were still mixing. That was the last song on the album. And I actually had to change the music because the original interpolation that I played was Prince Is Gonna Be Lonely.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to love the end part. I don't know if you know, most records I sample be the end part. That's what the most graviest part of most records when they get to the end.
Right.
And he didn't approve it. At the last minute, he was like, hey, man, y'all can use it, but I got to have 100% of the publisher.
Ooh.
And Ye was like, oh, it's a go. Let's go. I'm like, nah, bro, I got to eat.
Right.
So they flew me back down here to make a whole nother version. And I brought it back to New York. And by the time I got up here, Jay-Z and Jay Brown was there, and they wanted to hear the record. And once he heard it, he was like, damn, man, that's dope. When we going in? And next thing you know, but a little bit around that time, that's when he was talking about retiring.
Right.
But then I got a phone call from my man Big John. Was like, hey, know about the Denzel movie? Yeah, I was like, yeah, American Gangster. He's like, well, Jay gonna make an album called American Gangster. And that's when I did Say Hello to the Bad Guy.
Wow.
Yeah. Came back up to New York, and I bust some heads on that one.
Yes, you did, brother. God damn, too.
Yeah, because he didn't want to hear no more beats that day either.
No.
Nah, man, they had them beat his ears to death, man. So by the time I got up there, he was like, man, I only want to hear 3 tracks. So I had to narrow it down to 3 joints. I was in there with my headphones. It was No ID, JD, L-Rock, Usher, everybody was in the studio. And I just narrowed it down to those. I was like, all right, I know exactly which one I'm going to play for him. Blew him away. Yeah.
Damn.
Boom, now you got to Say Hello. And then that went from Mariah Carey. And shoot, just kept going.
What you do for Mariah?
Loving You Long Time. Yeah. I'll be loving you long time.
This dude here, man. This dude right here, bro.
It's still fun, eh?
You still love it?
Yeah, heck yeah, bro. What? I'm a geek.
There you go, man. What's next?
Stay in front of the computer. Shoot, I got this E40 record called Bands that just dropped.
Shout out to E40.
Got another one with 2 Chainz, Benny the Butcher, and Wayne. That's about to drop. Who else? I got one with JD and Currency.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one on there. I can't remember the title. He just sent it to me on my phone. I never knew the title.
I need JD in his seat. Could you please make that happen, brother?
I can make that happen really
Thank
soon.
you, brother. Thank
by
you.
the time I leave, I'll be
Thank you,
back
brother.
with something.
And then you and Tip sometime soon?
Man.
This year or next year?
We recorded 9 joints, last summer? He just hit me out of nowhere one time. He was like, man, meet me at the studio by 11 o'clock. We got there by 11. We got out about 6. Man, we knocked out about 9 records, man.
Fuck y'all do with them?
That's the thing. We don't know what to do. I don't know. I guess,
Toomp, you bring the best out of that.
our own record labels now.
Yeah, you bring the best out of that dude, and he brings the best out of you, bro. You know that.
Yeah, we got joints, man.
Y'all got classic joints.
Yeah.
You got worldwide hits, classic joints, bro. For sure. Toomp in the building, man. Y'all give it up for Toomp,
Thanks,
man.
brother.
God damn. Mark,
Yes,
he fucked
sir.
you up, didn't he, Mark? That is it for Come On Son, the podcast. Y'all keep God first. Everything else will fall into place. I'll talk at you, with you, to you, and about you next time. Be good if you can. Be good. Be careful. And if you're going to be an MC, get some music from Toomp. God damn. Until the next time we ride together, slide together, laugh out loud together. Ed Lover saying God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tuning me in and not tuning me out. Remember, I always give you the good shit and never the bullshit. Interesting conversations with interesting people, y'all. I'll see y'all next time on Come On Son, the podcast. Like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Get out of here.
Come on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son.